Hi friends, we have a lot to catch up on, so I think we should just hop right into this video. I'm going to do a little bit of a chit chat, get ready with me. It has been years. Well, maybe I did one in 2024, but I guess that's years. That was 2 years ago. It's been years since I've done one of these, and there's been a lot of life stuff to catch up on, and so I thought it would be fun to just get ready with you and chat about some life things to catch up on. So let's get started. This room hopefully doesn't have too bad of an echo. It may though, just with the reality of how it is. I don't have a rug in here. I laid a blanket on the floor to try to help, but if there's a little bit of an echo, I apologize. I'm also working with some natural light, so you may see some interesting lighting going on in here. But so I did ask you guys on my Instagram for some questions just to catch up, and so I do want to take some of those, and then I also just have some life things I want to catch up with you on. If you ever want to participate in a future Q&A video, go follow me on my Instagram. It's Simply Hope D, so Simply Hoped. That's the best way to leave some questions and interact with me over there. I've been trying to be more active in just some reels and different things, but I'm gonna just start getting ready. I guess I don't really have a good mirror, so we're gonna do this just the good old-fashioned way, using one of these. I'm going to share with you some products that I have just been using frequently. I get ready with basically the same products every day now, which 5 years ago, if you would have told me that, I would have probably had a stroke. Not good. Hold on, let me get my hair all situated quick. I guess there's just a lot that has happened. Honestly, life has just been a whirlwind, I think, for a lot of us, but me especially in the last probably 3 years. A lot of you probably know some of it, just if you followed my channel for a while. Some of you are new and you're just popping in here, but I started this channel when I think I was like 15. I started it at the end of 2015. So the 2016 trend that's going on right now is quite funny to me because I'm like, I don't think we want to go back to those days. Yeah, so now that I've had this channel for 10 years, it's kind of crazy just to see how much has changed in those 10 years. If I don't get a chance to mention all of the products that I'm using, I will put them down in the description box. Honestly, not a lot of it has probably changed since the last time I did a video, but I'm still loving this Tower 28 Sunny Days. It's basically a tinted sunscreen. I have the shade Melrose. This stuff is so good. I did try the Uniform tinted sunscreen. I use this on days that are more, I'm around the house. If I'm like going to work or having to be nice and fancy, Tower 28 is it. I wore this on my wedding day. This Merit one, I feel like sits on my skin versus this Tower one actually sinks into my skin. So I'm not a fan of the Merit one. I know a lot of people are, but I just don't like the way it looks on my skin. I think it emphasizes any imperfections versus this Tower one doesn't do that as much. So that's why the Merit one I've been using more around the house just to kind of even out the skin tone, but not necessarily if I'm really trying to go somewhere. I kind of like this Tower 28 one better. My skin has been so dry just with this weather too. Right now it's -11 outside, like real temp. We were down in like the -25-ish the last 2 days. I'm filming this on this like Arctic weekend where it's super cold here, and then everywhere else it's getting like either ice storms or snowstorms or rain. It's kind of that crazy weather weekend. I guess I last filmed, it was like the summer of 2024 when I was living in my apartment, which I love that place. I kind of miss it, to be honest. It was just like mine. It was cozy. I liked the town I was in. It was convenient for where I was working. Now we live even farther out of town, so it's just more in the country, which ultimately was my dream. But it is hard to get used to. Like, I grew up kind of, I'd say 10 to 15 minutes outside of town, so I'm not like super far. And it's been a few years since I've lived like that, so it's weird to get adjusted back to that again. Definitely would prefer to live out more in the country, but it's hard when you get used to being 5 minutes from a grocery store to kind of adapt to not living that close anymore, but this is the Tower 28 Cream Bronzer, Sculptino bronzer in Getty. Getting low, clearly. I think I've had 2 of these. Still trying to work on that clean beauty journey as I kind of grow and change my channel to be more my homesteading lifestyle in a way. It's been very interesting. I've been kind of getting into that homesteading stuff, but also like I work a total corporate 9-to-5 job and I work in downtown, like in the city. It's like the balance of those 2 lives is very difficult. It doesn't, it clashes more than it goes hand in hand. Just like going out to lunch a lot with team, or you're around people more that don't live the same lifestyle as you. This is the Tower 28 Beach Please blush in office hours, I think is what it is, unless I just read that backwards. So yeah, I guess the last time I filmed it was summer of 2024, and right after summer, Brian and I got engaged. So I know I had kind of introduced him into some videos. So we got engaged in September. Didn't really announce it many places. Obviously the people that knew us or were friends with us knew, but honestly we kept it pretty private, and I love that. I think my life the last few years have gone through a ton of changes, and the reality and the sad reality is when you go through difficult life changes, you get a lot of judgment and people's true colors come out. And you know, I'm not afraid to come on here and talk about that. I think the thing with my life changing so quickly is it's often a defining moment for you, but the other people on the outside are just using it as a thing to judge and to talk about. And so going through that has really made me think through how I view other people's lives and perspectives. And if you hear rumors and judgments on things, it just makes me double think and not create a judgment first, and really honestly not caring about other people's lives unless I'm like directly connected to them and supporting them. That got really deep really fast. I didn't mean for that. So I really enjoyed that time of being engaged and not really sharing out externally until we got married, and then I got to share, and it was really fun. I have some friends who have chosen to do similar things with other parts of their life, and then they're gonna announce it when the thing happens, and it's kind of fun. I kind of like that. I think it's like, oh my gosh, it just doesn't feel like you need to put on a show for everybody, which I know I'm preaching to a choir of some of you where you're just like, yep, I feel that. I love social media and hate it at the same time. Like, I think it's just how it is. But the thing with YouTube is I love sharing. I need to keep getting ready while I talk. But I just love sharing kind of, not necessarily even just personal things of what's going on in my life, but just like fun projects and makeup. Like, I'd spent years reviewing makeup, and like this is really a passion of mine, even though it's literally a hobby. There's no money being made on here, but it's just a hobby. And I needed to get back into that because I felt like I hadn't had any hobbies. I guess that the whole hobby conversation is a whole nother conversation, because that's like beyond YouTube. But I think YouTube was my hobby, and growing up, you go to school, you're in sports, and then I was doing YouTube. You have friends, and then once you graduate school, you get into the workforce. I had noticed, I mean, even in college it started, but like I had noticed that I hadn't really had any hobbies. I started reading in college, but then it was like I would go to work, I'd come home, I'd sit on my phone, or I'd watch TV, and then I'd go to bed, and it was a repeat. And it wasn't fulfilling, and so that's why I started, honestly, once I got into my new apartment, I had started getting into like the lower tox, non-tox lifestyle, some homesteading, canning, and that's where I'm trying to kind of really get more hobbies in that sense. Brian is really good about having his hobbies, which I guess I didn't finish that piece, but we ended up getting engaged in September. We got married in March of last year, so we've been married for almost a year, and that was a quick engagement too. But honestly, I'm loving it. I don't regret a single bit of it. It'd be fun to do like my wedding makeup. I think I should film that just for my YouTube sake of like being nostalgic, because I would do so many makeup videos, and I'm sure back then I would dream about what I would have done on my wedding day. And to be honest, I think it was a lot of these products that I'm using right now. Like, I kept it very simple. I did my own makeup. I did my own hair. I can insert some pictures here. but we had a very small intimate wedding. So if we want to talk more about wedding stuff, we can, but I know not everybody cares, so I may leave that for a different video, but I want to keep this more broad life update style. But yeah, we had that, and then in June of last year, we had a big celebration with the rest of our friends and family, because our intimate wedding only had, I think it was 13 people invited. So this bigger one, we invited about 100 people and had just a backyard celebration at my dad's house, because he has a nice big property for that. And so that worked out really well. It was a lot of fun. So back to my hobby thing. Brian is very good about having hobbies. We own a property, which is where the garden is, and he loves to hunt and maintain the property for that and develop it, because it was kind of abandoned before, and so really bringing nature back into it and taking care of it, and he loves that stuff. He also coaches, so it's like he's got a lot of hobbies, so I had to fill my time with some things, which is why I've kind of gotten into more canning and house projects, which is nice that we own a house now, and that has all been fun. And obviously have been reading a lot. Gardening is something I tried last year, which I have a video coming up where I'm going to talk about kind of my garden plans for this coming year, with like the seeds we're going to plant and all of that. A little recap of last year's gardening, because it was the very first time I had like really truly tried to garden, especially as an adult. This year I kind of want to get into making some more of my own homemade things, like homemade deodorant and some soaps maybe, and those type of things. I kind of dabbled a little bit into some skincare things last year, but I really want to try to get into that more, just because I think it's fun. Like just the thought that I can make that all on my own and not have to rely on, not that I'm against buying things, but the fact that I don't have to rely on that and I can make my own is kind of cool. Especially seeing like how, you know, people go frantic. We all lived through 2020. But also even just like this weekend, I'm seeing people posting about how the grocery store shelves are just like cleared out. And the funny thing is it's like in 2020 it was toilet paper. That makes a little more sense. Kind of. This year, like this time, everybody is running to pick up bread. Like bread is the easiest thing to make. So I don't know, like just like all those things, learning to cook things from scratch, and being more self-sustainable, I think is more the vibe that I'm like going towards. And I think it's so fascinating to learn how to make all that from scratch. So anyway, so those are some hobbies that you'll be seeing more. I want to start filming my canning stuff and all of that, but I think it's funny how my channel has totally grown with me. Like when I was 10 years ago, all I did was makeup videos, and now I own and use just this very small set of products that I use every single day. I don't really change it up. It's just so funny, like how, I don't know, that's just the idea, I guess, of getting older too. So after we got married, we moved to a more of like a townhouse. Yeah, so I guess I moved out of my apartment right after we got married and moved into our townhouse together, and then we bought this house. So I guess that was a very condensed life update of what's happened, but I'm gonna get to some questions here. What's changed most in my life since my last video? I guess I kind of talked about it. I guess the biggest thing was getting married. Brian is a very, like, he's older than me. We have an 8-year age gap. So he's 8 years older than me. And part of it's maturity, but he's humble, but I don't know if that's exactly the word I'm looking for. He doesn't want to go over the top with things, especially like a wedding. Part of it's financial, but part of it's like, he's like, oh, it's not my thing. It's not needed. So I kind of love how everything we have done has been very modest in that form. And I think that's one of my favorite things about our wedding, is that it was pretty modest and it was so intimate. We hosted it in an Airbnb, our smaller like actual wedding ceremony. And then we had a pizza party at a local pizza place after, and it was so fun. What's next on my project to-do list? I have this little office, which is my office that I'm using right now just for all of my work and everything, because I do work a 9-to-5 corporate job. So when I work from home, I work out of this office. It will be the future nursery when we have kids. So I think right now I kind of want to like, anything I do, this is very bare bones right now. Anything that I do in this office, I want to treat it as if it can easily be flipped into a nursery. So like when I'm thinking about paint and wallpaper or any design stuff, that hope sign was hung up with nails that were already in the wall when we moved it in because the previous owners left it. Something that I've been conscious of, but it would be nice to kind of do some changes in this office. Honestly, the biggest next thing is we are gonna have a home gym and we're gonna put it in our detached pole barn that we have here. So that'll be a fun project to share. We both are into lifting. My husband, Brian, is a powerlifting coach, which powerlifting isn't super popular in every state, but essentially it's just competing in weightlifting, in bench, squat, and deadlift. So he's always been into that. And I enjoy lifting. He doesn't compete anymore. He used to compete, but he still enjoys lifting. So that's something that we both wanted because we are so far out in our commutes to work. It's just pretty impossible to go to a gym consistently. Like we could maybe make it work 3 days a week, but then that's even pretty rough. So having a home gym will be super nice. So that's kind of the next biggest project that we have on our docket, but we can't do anything with that until probably May because we need to spray foam the inside of the pole barn because it is not insulated right now. That's the next big project, but I think there may be little things. Our closet, I want to do some built-ins so that we can put our folded, we don't have any shelves in there and I fold a lot of my clothes, so being able to put that in there will be nice. And so we're going to build that out. I do have a small closet that's under our stairs that go to our basement that I want to put all of my empty canning supplies in and maybe some that are full jars. That's kind of on our next to-dos, but we are kind of taking a little break. A lot of our projects we did right away were over Christmas when we had some time off of work and his coaching schedule was lighter. Right now we're trying to wrap up that season since it does end in March and it's a really busy time for me for work right now. So we're kind of just pulling back on some house projects probably until March and then, which I guess it's basically almost February, which is crazy. What is bringing me joy lately? I love that question. I am a natural pessimist and I feel like I am always looking forward to the next, so like right now it's winter and so I'm just really looking forward to summer. And I know when it's gonna be the heat of summer, I'm gonna be really looking forward to fall. And then when it's fall, I'm gonna be like, okay, let's keep it moving. Like I am very much constantly looking to what's next. I've been trying to slow down and think of like using my hobbies to create joy in this season because I know that like, I know myself, I hate the heat of summer. So why am I looking forward to it when I could be enjoying my hibernating season right now is in winter? So that's actually something that I've been working on, which I guess is not a direct answer to that question. Trying to enjoy where we are in this season. It's been very hard for me actually, and trying to just be more intentional. And so I guess what brings me joy are my little hobbies that I have been doing. But I've also just been trying to appreciate the stage I'm in. I think I'm in kind of an interesting life stage where I feel like I'm behind, which is funny because I'm only 24. I turned 25 in April, but I'm not very old. And I feel like I'm already behind. Like I feel like I'm like, okay, we got married, let's have kids, let's do this and let's do that. And honestly, Brian, who's 8 years older than me, is in no rush. So why am I in a hurry? And I think it's funny because I'm also like, my friends are just in the early stages of having kids. Like only 2 of them are about to have kids or have kids. And a couple of them are married with no kids. And one of them is engaged and about to get married this year. And one of them isn't even dating anybody. So I'm in that stage where everybody's in a different stage, but I still feel like I'm behind. And I think it's just trying to remind myself that I'm not. Like I'm on God's timing and I don't know. He's just the ultimate planner of my life, not me. So I'm just trying to embrace that. And honestly, I really want to enjoy these last couple years, year or 2 years, however long it is before we do want kids, to just enjoy that, because we are never going to get this time back. We are never going to not have kids once we do. And I'm not saying that kids are a burden. I am so excited to be a mom. My friends know that. They have called me a mom of the friend group basically since forever, but especially in high school, they were like, Hope is going to be the first to have kids. And maybe that's part of why I feel like I'm in a hurry, because I was always told that. Of all my friends were like, Hope is a mom. Why doesn't she have kids yet? I'm not saying that, you know, they're the ones that are causing me to feel that way, but I don't know. I'm trying to really think about that, of like embrace having my pre-kid body and being able to work out right now and do my hobbies and do the things that I want to do when it's this time. I won't have that freedom for the next 20 years until kids are out of the house. Just trying to find, I guess that was a long-winded answer of like what's bringing me joy, and I didn't really answer it fully. But I think the biggest thing has been just trying to find joy in the little things, because I want to practice being content in the moment that I'm in now. Because life is constantly changing and life goes so fast. How am I already going to be in my mid-20s? Well, I already am in my mid-20s, basically. Time goes so fast, and I know that's cliche, but like seriously, I just want to enjoy these moments while I have them. I'm honestly so impressed that I didn't really get mascara on my lids. Usually I have like everything. And this is not like a typical, I don't usually do eyeliner and eyeshadow, and I always do mascara on my lowers, but maybe I'll just take like my finger. Oh no, maybe I just gave myself a black eye without actually doing that. I don't know if I like what I just did. I don't want it to look like I just gave myself a black eye. What's something I'm grateful for right now? That's kind of the joy. I feel like that kind of goes hand in hand, but I am grateful for the time that I have right now with just me and Brian. We've been married for almost a year, and I think I'm grateful for the ability to just learn new things. I think I'm kind of like what's the word? Like I'm finding new things to learn about and rediscovering the joy in learning new things, which I feel you kind of lose that joy when you're in school and you're being forced to learn a lot of things. I think that's something that I've really learned and rediscovered, is being able to challenge myself and learn new hobbies and things that I originally would have said, well, I just don't know how to do that. Well, yeah, but I can learn how to do that. And so really challenging myself in that way has been fun, and I guess that's kind of something I'm grateful for. Maybe that's something I've been finding joy in lately. What have I been loving lately? Maybe I should do an updated favorites video, since I haven't talked about favorites in a while. And maybe I'll do that. But one show that I have been into is Homeland, and it's not a new show, but it's like on Netflix, and kind of I feel like people have been rediscovering it. It's really good. We're like midway through season 3. I know there's 8 seasons, and we're actually getting through it kind of fast. So I've been really into that show. Let's end on this one. What is something I've learned about myself recently? I think for as long as I can remember, I have always been told, my dad is a psychologist, he's a counselor, a therapist, all of those words. And he has always told me, your brain does not stop developing until you turn about 25. Now, I don't know if there's like true science backing behind this, so take this with a grain of salt. However, I would say the last about year and a half, 2 years, maybe 2 years, my perception on reality, like I can feel my brain changing. Like it's almost like I can feel it rounding out and putting a nice big bow on it. And that is the strangest way to describe it, but that is how I feel. I just feel like my perception on different things, whether that's like relationships in my life, complexities in communication and situations, and how people view situations differently, and just like the perception of time, which I've talked about before, like all of those things have slowly shifted, and I have seriously feel like I have felt my brain change. And I brought this up at work the other day, and a couple of my coworkers who are around my age but slightly older were like, yeah, I absolutely felt that. And I think that is so interesting and something I've really discovered. lately about myself of like, oh my gosh, I actually can feel my brain changing. Like I can almost, like my perception and the way I view things, and I just feel like it's more mature. And I've always been naturally more mature, but I don't know, it's just a very strange thing that I've discovered lately about myself. That was a complicated response, but anyway, I'm gonna end the video there. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I love chatting with you, and there's so much more to catch up on, and I think, you know, as I do more videos of gardening and canning and homesteading and home projects, I'll talk more about life and you'll keep catching up, and we can always do a wedding video if any of you are intrigued by that. And maybe I could do my wedding makeup while talking about it. So I will link down below all the products I use because I know I kind of stopped talking about them as I went on further. All I know is, you guys know, if you've been around, Maybelline Lash Sensational is my ride or die mascara. This one, the Colossal Bubble from Maybelline. I think Maybelline does mascaras really well. Always have been a fan. This one is definitely more like can build. I feel like this is a drier formula, but not too dry, because I don't like when they're too dry. I actually like a wetter formula. This one, you can build on it. They just feel like they're fluttery lashes. This one is not as fluttery. Still love the Lash Sensational, and I will still purchase it. But the Colossal Bubble, that's what I was using today. Not as good on the lower lashes, which is what I usually do, is lower lashes. So I'll use my Maybelline Lash Sensational for that. But man, this Colossal Bubble, I don't usually branch out, but I did, and I have repurchased this already. So loving that. And as you can tell, I'm still not completely non-tox on mascara. That is one thing that is really hard for me to buy, like every 2-3 months, is a $25 mascara. I just can't bring myself to do it. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you'll like and subscribe. If you are new here, welcome. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.